Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a reading for all signs. Keep in mind that this will not resonate for all of you. If you like a personal reading, leave that description down below. You can also become a member on the channel, that'd be great. Get access to all those perks. So 2 cards pulled for the collective is number 26, The Beautiful Place, and number 13, Medicine of the Rainbow Jaguar. So what this card talks about is you going through a phase, like ending. So it's like a transitional phase, like moving on into the new. And while you're doing that, nothing's going to hurt you. You're safe. You're protected. And with this card. So this card talks about you having visions or a dream that you really want to pursue, and you may kind of think that maybe that's a little too out there to pursue, but you don't do it because it feels like it's going to bring a lot of good to the world. Okay, so let's move on to the sign of Aries. The advice for a sign of Aries as of right now. Alright, so you have number 31, Sweeping Sister Willow. So I believe this card talks about healing in a way. It says, Sweeping Sister Willow gently brings you healing for forgiveness and release of old pain now. Let her branches gracefully sweep any sadness and pain from your heart and soul. Your time for greater inner freedom is dawning, and the cleansing sadness and healing of forgiveness is pathway to that greater freedom now. You deserve this freedom, and you are swiftly becoming ready to gift it to yourself with the help of Kuan Yin. Yes, so it literally talks about you forgiving things of the past, that old pain, so that you can move forward, so that you can be free. It says, forgiveness is a way to raise your vibration by shedding old energies that drain you and prevent you from having all your power available to you now. It is a chance to free yourself from suffering and empower yourself. Sweeping Sister Willow guides you to forgive others and yourself abundantly and freely now. You may be very aware of your own need for forgiveness, or this may come as a surprise to you, in which case be open to hearing the truth of who or what needs to be forgiven and released from Willow Mother, from deep within your own heart. Yeah, so something needs to be released here, something needs to be forgiven so you can move on, Aries, so that you can be free, you can, grow. Alright, let's move on to the sign of Taurus. What advice does Taurus need to know as of right now? Okay, so we have number 13 here, the Yellow Tiger Mother. So sometimes we must be strong and hold true, while else around us seems to be shifting and changing. The Yellow Tiger Mother, Kuan Yin, in her guardian role, is roaring her divine sound within you. She asks you to hear her, to remember that you're a powerful being of light, and even whilst you are in flow with universal forces, your strong roots help you be at peace with your truth, standing your ground whilst your light shines true. It says, in our surrender to divine forces, I should say, there are times when we must be flexible and flow, and then there are times when we must surrender. And the surrender is into holding strong and being true to our inner knowing. There are inner truths that we know are worthy of the effort to grow strong enough to honor them in our lives. These are the truths of kindness, compassion, the right of each individual being to be spiritually free and loved, and more. Yes, this is you standing your ground on what you feel is true for yourself. It's very important for you. Okay? There are times when it's important to do that, and then there's times when where you just need to flow. So to move on to the sign of Gemini. What advice does Gemini need to know as of right now? So we have number 25, the Sacred River. So let's see. It says the sacred river eternally flows and changes. Just as the river flows and changes course, you too are evolving in your divine path. Veils and sheaths that once covered your soul light are being washed away. Cleansing by sacred water specifically indicates that your emotional life and your life direction are being purified and healed. Changes in the flow of energy within you and in the momentum of your life path unfolding are imminent. This is exciting. You're growing and changing, and soon your life circumstances will reflect your inner evolution. It says a sacred river in which beloved Kuan Yin delights is always subtly changing course, flowing and growing. You, like the sacred river, are changing too, beloved. Your life direction is going through subtle realignments or even in the midst of a far more obvious change. You are encouraged to trust in the natural unfoldment of this process and to allow it to work its way through you and your lives. Yeah, so a lot of changes in your life, and you're being told to let that happen. You're growing through this. It's allowing you to evolve. Don't fight it. Okay? So let's move on to the sign of Cancer. What advice does Cancer need to know as of right now? We have number 44, Weave the Future Golden. It says something good is coming your way. Kuan Yin urges you to weave your future into the present moment, to call in and draw to you the opportunities, teachings, circumstances, and synchronicities waiting for you that will enable your soul to live its divine destiny with greater abundance, bliss, and creative fulfillment. Yeah, you have abundance coming towards you, and you need to be in the present moment. Okay, you can't be in the past. You're looking back in the past, you ain't really going to get a whole lot out of that. It says, do you know how much the divine wishes to support and assist you in living your heart's truth this lifetime? Kuan Yin, with grace and compassion, wishes to help you ascend to the next level of your life expression so that your soul may shine more brightly on the planet and help you and other beings to live with more heart and less fear. You can choose to live a life infused with the golden energy of peace, prosperity, joy, and creativity. A future so golden is being woven into your present moment now like a tapestry. With the choices and actions that you make in this moment, you call into being the divine golden tapestry of future bliss. Clever you, yes. You have something good coming towards you, Cancer, and you need to, like I said, you need to be in that present moment. You can't be looking on things that happened in the past. Otherwise, you're kind of preventing that blessing coming towards you. Let's move on to the sign of Leo. So what advice does Leo need to know right now? So we have number 38 with the Tau. It says the Tau is always flowing, always nourishing life into creation, always presenting steps and solutions, and always reminding us that we are perfection in this moment. You are being guided to relax and allow life to flow. Leo. That is very general, but relax. Allow things to happen naturally. Don't try to force things or hang on to things that you know, it should have been gone a long time ago. It says, beloved, you're being invited into a more advanced spiritual classroom of the soul. Sometimes we think that more advancement means more effort, and yet in spiritual matters, as we mature, we become more able to stop attempting to control and direct from our more limited perspective, and instead be open to receiving and being directed by higher forces, which include our own divine essence, at one with the source of all. This does not mean that we become a loose leaf, blown about the winds of fate. It means rather that we become like bamboo, strong within ourselves and able to move in this direction or that without losing our power. In fact, our flexibility can become part of what makes us a powerful instrument of divine creativity and healing. Yes. So this, as I said before, it's like you being in that flow, you allowing things to flow, but not, not just wandering around aimlessly. Okay? It's kind of like you trusting that things will happen and you not having a need to control things as much. So let's move on to the sign of Virgo. What advice does Virgo need to know as of right now? We have number 43 with the Veil of Shadows. It says, a lotus blossoms with deep, rich mud into which she plunges her roots and draws great nourishment. From this mud, made of water and earth, growth happens, and great beauty is revealed. Your soul lotus thrives through depth of emotion and aliveness of your body, into which she can plant herself and unfold as a lotus of light. It says, your soul lotus is blossoming, just like a plant that outgrows the pot in which it has been planted and requires more soil to spread its roots and continue growing. Your soul lotus needs more mud, some more water and earth energy so that it can grow and shine. In the spiritual worlds, all things serve. Everything, including our darker emotions and parts of our body that we may not think are acceptable. They are actually good nourishment for our soul. The soul craves to be loved and be in love with all parts of you, like a passionate divine lover, and wants to hold nothing back and become completely spiritually intimate with all aspects and all parts of you, whether you have thought they were lovable or not. Yes, Virgo. It is very important for you to accept all things of yourself, even the things that you don't like, because that really helps you. Okay? That's really what's needed for you, is to kind of work on yourself, love yourself, accept things of yourself that you did not think were acceptable. So let's move on to the sign of Libra. So what advice does Libra need to know as of right now? Okay, so we have number 14, Immortal Treasures. It says, you carry within you precious immortal treasures, beloved. They exist beyond life and death, belonging to the celestial, heavenly realms of the divine presence within you. Kuan Yin now guides you to honor these treasures, the gifts of your soul, which include the ability that you have to transmit healing. Honor yourself as a healer, beloved, whether formally or informally. Your soul brings a special healing light to humanity. You have divine support in your role as a healer, in whatever way, usual or highly unusual, that this is unfolding for you now. Yes, so you are very unique. You could heal people, like you might have that ability, and if you know that, go for it, do that. It says each soul is unique and precious in its own way. Certain souls have the light of healing. Yours is one such soul. Your presence on this planet brings light and hope to others, sometimes in ways that you don't consciously recognize. Kuan Yin is with you, guiding you to be open to perceiving and utilizing the immortal treasures that lay within you, the beautiful light and gifts of your own divine soul. Just remember to take care of yourself too. An empty cup cannot fill another. It is better to allow your inner cup to be spiritually filled and emotionally and physically replenished through balanced self-care. A bit of indulgence balanced with loving discipline and boundaries that make you feel safe and secure within, yes. So like I said, this is you having that calling to healing people, or you already doing that, and it's telling you to honor that, continue doing that. Okay, Libra? So let's move on to the sign of Scorpio. So what advice does Scorpio need to know as of right now? So we have number 29, sound the fierce flute. Okay. It says discernment empowers you to make choices that are aligned with your spiritual intentions. Like a fierce sounding flute cutting through all vibrations with purity and intent, your discernment allows you to stay true to your values and spiritual destiny without getting caught up in distraction. If you wish to grow spiritually through love, joy, peace, and abundance, then discerning between higher and lower vibrational choices is helpful. It says it is wise to be accepting of all life and not to judge people or situations as good or bad. Some are more pleasant than others, and yet sometimes a challenge can turn out to bring us great growth and opportunity, which in turn becomes a blessing. However, this does not mean that we are wise to abandon the power of choice. We can use our discernment to be guided on our path to the most joyful, uplifting, and helpful experiences for soul growth. Discernment is not judgment. It does not render some things better or worse than others. It is a power of selection based on desire or intention. If we intend to grow through joy and adventure, rather than fear or suffering, then we can use our discernment to make choices that feel expansive and uplifting, rather than constrictive or draining. Yes, so really, before you do things, kind of think about it. Use your, that discernment on, is this really good for you? So that's really the only advice for you. So let's move on to the sign of Sagittarius. So what advice does Sagittarius need to know as of right now? Ooh. We have number 22, Princess of the Autumn Harvest. It says the princess of the autumn harvest brings gifts of bounty and blessing for efforts and actions of the past. It is a time when fruit of labors is ripe for the picking. A beautiful blessing is on its way to you now. This may come in the form of a spiritual gift, an opportunity, a windfall of abundance, a significant relationship, or an important friendship, and more. With gratitude in your heart, you will recognize the blessing when it comes to you, and it will serve you perfectly. Be open to receive it, knowing it is justly deserved. Yes, you, Sagittarius, have a blessing coming to you. It's a long-deserved one. It can be a lot of different things coming to you. It's going to be different for all of you and exactly what that is, but it's something that you really needed. You really earned that. It says a divine blessing is on its way to you now. It might be an obvious blessing where your heart sings and your spirit soars, or it might start off as a hidden blessing which leads you to that heart-opening state in a less obvious way. Sometimes we don't realize that we are being blessed because the blessing is in avoiding something that would have caused us unnecessary pain or suffering, distracting us from our path and lowering our vibration for a time. It may only be sometime later that we realize that we were indeed spared what could have been great suffering. Sometimes we don't ever realize how loved and protected we are in precious moments where we are gifted blessings in disguise. Yes. So that's pretty good. Let's move on to the sign of Capricorn. So what advice does Capricorn need to know as of right now? So you have to the celestial mountain number 41. It says there are times when our divine energy is needed to help us achieve our spiritual goals. When you do not feel completely in control of your own destiny, the divine is usually gifting you with an opportunity to reach for assistance and to invoke divine power, to call to the celestial mountain so that you may be gifted with a far superior outcome. Your permission to beings that love you unconditionally to offer you help is an expression of spiritual empowerment. You empower those forces to come to your aid and help you manifest your life purpose and destiny. Yes, you. This is the advice for you. Reach out to the divine, God, your spirit guides, whatever you call them, to help you. That is literally your advice. It says, you're being asked to empower the divine to help you, to call to the celestial mountain with your own heart, to reach out and allow the divine to assist you, to assist your current life unfoldment. We live in a free will universe, and no matter how much you are loved, in fact, because you are so loved and respected, no being will interfere for you without your permission. Yes, this is your own free will, Capricorn. That's something that you need to do. That's not something that's forced for you. Okay? So let's move on to the sign of Aquarius. So what advice does Aquarius need to know as of right now? It says, spin the silken thread. Divine, number 30. It says, in creating precious silks, there's a sorting process, sifting out that which is broken to find that which is precious and pure. You're commencing a new cycle, beloved, and it is time to allow for that which is more precious and pure, that which you wish to take with you into the future, to continue and release that which does not align with your true heart. Sometimes we need to help ourselves access the new cycle by releasing vows from this or other lifetimes, releasing old emotional patterns, and calling in wisdom and talents from past lifetimes. You are guided to accept this healing now. It says, your past is calling to you. It is calling to be clear, to be released, and for the beauty and power of the past to be claimed in the present moment. Woven together like a precious rare silk, all the experiences, mistakes, adventures, and success of your past in this and other lifetimes have given your soul plenty of material from which to draw its wisdom. Like fine silken threads being woven into a beautiful fabric, it has had to grow in awareness, light, capacity, and love in order to be where it is now. You're being guided by Kuan Yin now to realize that your past is nothing to be ashamed of. Even the worst mistakes that you may have judged yourself or others for have been opportunities to really grow in love. Yes, so this is you facing your past, but not dwelling in it. It's so that you can be cleared, so that you can move on into a new phase here. Okay, Aquarius? So let's do Pisces, and then that'll be the last sign. So, what advice does Pisces need to know as of right now? We have number 10, Empress of the Pearl. It says, you have an inner gift of great value, born of struggle, adversity, and challenge. In wisdom, you know that suffering can lead to growth, provided we are willing to search for a way to heal through it. Seeing challenges as ways to expand your spiritual light empowers you to focus on the growing light, rather than getting caught up in suffering. It says, natural pearls are rare, lustrous feminine gems created with a living organism, the pearl oyster. They have a unique creation process. Natural pearls are created when a foreign entity, such as grain of sand or a parasite, finds its way into the pearl oyster. The oyster reacts and creates layers of pearlescent substance, creating a warmly glowing treasure within. Just like the beautiful and rare natural pearl, you have a unique and spiritual beauty to offer to the world. Your pearl is your precious gift, something unique that is born through your experiences and consciousness that cannot be created or copied by another, because it is of your own unique soul light. Any struggles you have experienced are a karmic gift to help you grow this inner exquisite offering to support the spiritual evolution of humanity. Once you recognize this, you can dispense with your struggles more swiftly, using them to help you grow and not adding unnecessary energy or focus to the problem, which might make it grow instead. Yes, so you have really been through a lot here, Pisces, and through that, it's like you've really grown here. You know, the challenges you face, the struggles, and it's made you really unique. Like, you've learned a lot. Okay? So, that is all I have for you. Let me know if that resonates. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more content, don't forget to like, subscribe. Bye guys.